welcome to the Man United show. We are live, and it's the Brentford versus Manchester United predicted lineup and preview. Apparently, Nathan wants to make a grand entrance, so he's dropped out to come straight back in 3, 2, 1, activate. Yeah, that didn't happen. Now, let's try it another way. Hocus pocus. Nathan. All right, I'll carry on. Anyway, so we've got some team news from Manchester United. Ralph Rangnick said after the last game that a few players will be available again. I think Luke Shaw, Aaron Wan-Bissaka will be available on Tuesday, as potentially will Edinson Cavani. But at that time, that was too early to say. So I'm sure you'll get a bit more team news later on as they do late fitness tests for the game against Brentford. Yeah, here we are. Nathan is back.
My goodness me.
All right, we're back again. All right, so just did the team news. Just did the team news for Man United. Wan-Bissaka, Shaw are options, and Edinson Cavani a late fitness test, it looks like. First and foremost, this was a game, a couple of months back that you was actually worried about. Is that still the same case now?
Well, it wasn't after the last game before Norwich game, but it is again. It is once again very scary because they play the way they play to their own strengths, and we're not able to play to our strengths yet. And obviously, Rangnick, he's still got to look for his right team. So yeah, it's good that we had that kind of game and we still won because I'm hoping that he's going to make changes and changes that will make us have more ability to find players and more ability to defend without being under so much stress. So let's see.
So Man United in the last game, they won 1-0 against Norwich. What was there any worrying points? But most people would have thought that Man United would have gone to Norwich and obliterated them. But they have got a new manager under Dean Smith. They're probably a little bit of a different outfit compared to what they were prior to that with manager Daniel Farke. So what was it about the Norwich game that has sort of had you a little bit worried again?
I didn't get to watch the game. I was busy watching a couple of my own players that I look after. But so I got back home. No, I didn't even get back home. I was not at home. That's why I couldn't watch the game. But I was able to watch all of the highlights and watch what everyone else was saying about it as well. Wasn't much highlights to look at, but really, it was all the same kind of talk again. Like we struggled. They on another day will get whooped by a team that's more competent. Norwich are bottom of the table. No matter how you look at it, they are rock bottom, way off. Like we shouldn't be struggling against that kind of team. No one should. It just doesn't really happen, does it? It's once in a lifetime. It was a little bit of a struggle against the bottom team. But yeah, it's too frequent now. We're struggling against everyone. So it doesn't matter who we play against. It will be a tight game. And that's not a good look for a team like United, who, at the start of the season, we were saying we wanted to be champions. Like, you can't be champions if you struggle against these teams where they should be coming off the pitch, winning. That's not right. It's not right. So yeah, I'm just not happy about that. And it's the performances, isn't it? There was no press. There was no press there. They were saying that they were leggy after they weren't even playing midweek. They might have been put through their paces a bit with a bit of running, but in reality, look, I can see the glaring problems, and I'm sure Rangnick can. It's just a matter of time before something happens to enable him to go and change it up to then be our strongest 11, and that's what I'm waiting for, and that's what I saw. And even though we won and we kept a clean sheet, it still shows that there's players in that side that can play and make us a much better team, much better team. So let's see it happen.
Yeah, this is a Brentford side that started the season in emphatic form. They were sitting high, near enough at the top of the table. But since then, they've had a few results which haven't quite gone their way, and there doesn't seem to really be any correspondence as to the fact that they're at home or away. They dropped points to Burnley away. It's always a tough game, but they've also dropped points at home to the likes of Norwich, and so you never know. It seems like you don't know what Brentford you're going to get at the moment. What do you think the best way to take on this Brentford team is?
Look, you just have to press them and make them make mistakes. Like at this level, that's how you capitalize. You know, I knew that the higher league you go, the less mistakes get made, and the more clinical the finishing is. That's the difference. And you're just much more in control. Like people are much more comfortable with the ball at their feet. That's the difference. And even though they play to their own strengths, look, they're limited side, but they play to their own strengths. So if someone else is not on their game, they will beat them. So we need to play to our strengths. We need to shut them down and make sure that they don't play as well as they can. Simple. Make sure they don't have a good game, and we should win the game. Simple as that.
Yeah. So let's get to your predicted lineup then. Who would you start for this game?
Well, looking at it, I think I'd go with. I'm not sure if Lindelof is fit, but you know, Lindelof has been playing pretty strong recently as well. I wouldn't go with Maguire. I'd go with Lindelof and Bailly with Telles and Dalot at the moment. I'd go with that just because I want to see Bailly play. I need him to play. It might be Maguire and Bailly because this chest problem with Lindelof. So looking at that, it's more likely to be that than the other way around. So if I'm going to go with putting on, you know, saying, right, what is the team actually going to be? I think it actually will be Maguire and Bailly, Dalot and Telles at the back. I'd like to see Fred come in. I heard Fred did really well. Fred stay in, sorry. But I'd like to see, as you know, Van der Beek. We need to see him come in there and show what he's got and get chances like everyone else is getting game after game to try and do something, and they're coming up short. Let him play his few games. You know, I'm sure he can reproduce a Watford performance quite regularly. So get him in there so we can actually be our Herrera replacement. And then I'd go with Sancho. I'd go with Bruno. And then I'd give Rashford a little bit of a rest. I think he needs to watch from the outside, take a rest, take a breather, and realize how he can improve. Sometimes you have to come out of the firing line to get back in and really be on it. And he's not been on it of late. We know what he can do. We know how good he is. We know what we said before. He's that close to being world class when he's on his game. But right now, he's just not playing the best. So Greenwood or Cavani. Cavani's actually itching to play again. I think he's available. So you could either go with Greenwood and Ronaldo, or you could go with Cavani and Ronaldo. It'd be nice to see Cavani and Ronaldo. But another thing is you're going to lose a bit of pace in and around that team there. So it's one of them ones where do you go with the formation and go, right, what's going to work with the formation? I don't care if I have to drop Bruno for a game or, you know, or someone else for a game to make sure this team is balanced. I see him really trying to do a balanced kind of formation. I wouldn't even be surprised if you see Elanga just playing up there with Ronaldo, you know, like that's the kind of thing you probably expect him to do now. So I'm trying to get into the mind of how he's thinking. You never know. He might just throw Elanga up there with Ronaldo, you know, so like kind of like for like for Rashford in terms of pace.
Yeah. Well, Garth's saying that Rashford definitely needs a break on the bench. You know, why do you think? Why do you think that Donny van der Beek didn't get a start against Norwich? Like of all games, you'd think this is an opportunity to see what he can do.
No, when the manager comes in, he's got a new team. They won the game previously. He's let them play again because they won. It's not fair to come in and just change it up without seeing them. And obviously, within they're already playing well. Then they win the game against Palace, clean sheet. You can't change the team. No matter how much you want to change the team, you've got to stick with that team. You've got to give them their chance to keep going and keep a run going. If they play themselves into the way he wants anyway, they're the ones who are currently playing, should continue playing. But when you get performance like Saturday, you've got to change something. So you can't expect them to do it. We got a clean sheet and we won the game, but he knows you play against anyone a bit better, we're getting whooped, not beat. We're getting whooped like we've been whooped in the past. So he knows what he has to do. He knows if he wants to feel nothing, he does. If he doesn't want to feel the way Ollie's been feeling, them games we're getting humiliated, he's gonna have to change, make the bold moves. He's gonna have to get in there, and then when Varane comes, I know they're the best two. I know it, and I know Van der Beek's. They're the only three people that need to come in this side, and everyone else is interchangeable. Let anyone else do what they want. Pick whoever you want in the rest of the team. Put them three in there, and you're set.
All right. So, off the back of that starting lineup that you've given, who is going to be your key player against Brentford? Very good passing team. Who's going to be that person that stops it? Who's going to be the person that unlocks it?
We all know who's the guy. We're only going to him until he gets the team right. So it is that man CR7 who is just unbelievable, ridiculous. There's no words to describe this guy. He just continues to produce game after game, gets older and produces more after more. He's just no joke. So I'm loving him, loving everything he's got. I went off him a bit when he left United. I didn't really pay much attention to him. I wasn't watching him as much, and I felt I don't even know why I did it, but he was part of my life for so long, and I've seen
it was easier that way. Just let go.
Yeah, I just let go. But now he's back. Man, I love him. I do love him. Even though he's not the same as he was, but I just love the way he is. Yeah, I know he just sniff out goals for fun. It don't matter how slow he gets, he will sniff goals.
Yeah,
he's the man. He's the man.
And the amount of times he's scored that goal, which is a 1-0 or a 2-1, he's still doing it. You can't knock him.
We're missing that. That's what we missed. The extra special ability to make a goal out of nothing. When he wasn't there was no one. There's no Greenwood every now and again, or Bruno might have, but before that it was like Van P. And then when Ibrahimovic came, we had him for a bit, so he kept doing it. But man, when we had none of them, it was like, oh my gosh, you got Rashford, Martial. You know what I mean? You're not going to depend on them every game to just make sure they got you a goal from a very, very low risk to goal to shot ratio kind of chance.
Mm-hmm.
He's there now. He makes that difference, and he'll get us them extra points that we need while we're struggling.
Yeah, definitely. And what's your predicted score? And goal scorers, if there are any goals, what's your predicted score? Do you reckon it'll be an open game? How do you think it's going to go?
It's going to be open because Brentford play that way, and they play very. From what I remember, they play quite attacking and quite with the pressing. So we're going to need to outpress them at their game, really, and it's going to be difficult because that's their game. We're getting used to our game. We ain't even got players in there that can really play that yet. So it's a case of, can we have enough intensity that kind of levels it or just below them, and then the quality overtakes it? That's the kind of thing we need to do. And it all depends on if Rangnick's going to be bold and change something. Even if he changes any players, I'll tell you now, if he makes changes, we win this game. Don't care who it is. Whatever he saw on Saturday, and he says, I'm not having none of that, and he changes it this week, we will win on tomorrow. If he goes with the exact same team, we ain't winning. We're losing. So it's very difficult, but just mark my words, that's the way it's going to work this Tuesday. So if he does change it, I expect us to win, and I expect us to win 2-1.
So have you seen enough of Man United with this under this press to think that they can win that ball against Brentford and get the result they need?
Depends. It depends, because I think we don't have enough quality in the team to win the ball, then go and do something about it afterwards. We can win it, but then we'll just do nothing. Not enough. There's not enough quality in that side to make it count as often as we need to. That's our problem right now, and that's Ragnick's problem right now. Also, when you come up against better players, even when we beat Crystal Palace, like I said, we came up against better. If we was up against anyone better, they would have beat us, even though we were showing good signs of things changing. So, like I say, we need to have better, more able defense to handle the big boys when they come at us, when they become the big boys. And we need to have more able attack. So Get that right, and we will be all right. Don't get it right and continue to flop like Solskjaer did. He continued to go with the same team, knowing that he's got players in there. Still didn't want to change it, thinking, I hope last season's team's going to do the job. Didn't. This man, I think he's bold enough to say what he thinks and do what he wants. He's going to do what he wants.
How many players do you think you need in the style of play that you're going for moving forward, and in what areas to make sure they've got the right players to really to do this press to play the way he wants to play?
To be fair, we just need balance. I think we've got certain players in the team right now in the squad that if we pick the right team, we'd really do well. And if players were on form again, it's like I'd put Rashford on up front where he is, but he's not playing well. So then I'd put Martial there as well, but he's got a knee injury now. So, and then you got Cavani who's injured. So it's hard to say who you'd need up there. But I heard we were connected with like a João Felix. Like he's a kind of dynamic kind of player up there who could probably do what he wants. And then if you get that dynamic defensive midfielder, obviously an upgrade on Fred would be great because Fred is good at what he does. But we know that there's the limitations when it comes to on the ball. Mm-hmm. So if you get a player in there that he knows about, that can play that way, that the midfielder that he was talking about, I can't remember, is he at Red Bull? I can't remember his name, but they're talking about him as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how good he is. I've not seen him play, but I know that if he's the type of player that he wants, it's going to fit his system. So I'm thinking a defensive midfielder and another attacking player that fits that 4-2-2-2 because let's face it, Bruno is not on the wing, is he? He's not going to be one of those winger kind of guys. He's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's got to be. I don't know what he's got to be in this formation. What is his real position that's going to really work? I don't know.
They're just trying to squeeze. They're just trying to fit him in.
They are. But again, you could bring in a Felix and then put Ronaldo up front with Bruno just behind, so he can do what he used to do, run around everywhere and do whatever he wants. But he's like a second striker. You know what I mean? Not instead of a Cam, he's a second striker where you have Sancho and a João Felix or someone like that. Or Sancho and Rashford, if Rashford can up his game. Or Sancho and Martial. So you can do that, but you just have to... Because the way it seemed was Bruno was playing like a second striker all the time he's been here anyway. So, always saying he pushes forward too much and he presses everyone, and then he's out of position, can't help the midfield. Well, if he played him as a second striker, that's what he could continue doing and continue scoring that amount of goals and assisting Cristiano. So why not? You could do it that way and then it might work that way. You
are talking about Adamu Hadira.
That's the one. Haidara, yeah.
Hadara. Yeah. There we go. All right. There we go. It was there like 5 minutes ago while I'm in the background looking for it. Cheers, Garth. Thank you. All right. Make sure you join us tomorrow, 9:30, because we are joined by former Brentford forward Lloyd Owusu for the post-match reaction rating show. That'll be a really, really good one. We're going to be live at 9:30, so make sure you catch us. All right.
Guess where he's calling in from?
Where's he calling in from?
He's calling in from good old Australia. In the morning.
Oh, yeah?
He's going to be waking up in the morning, watching the game, then coming on live with us. So, it'll be good. Good. He's in Australia. He'll be good for a while. Yeah.
We appreciate your time, Lloyd. Thank you very much. All right. So make sure you catch us tomorrow at 9:30. Straight after the game, like I said, we'd have former Brentford forward Lloyd Owusu joining us for the post-match reaction and rating show. Make sure if you are watching on any other platform, make sure you come over, hit that like and subscribe. And thank you for joining us today, Nathan.
No probs.
Thank you for everyone who's joined us so far today. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.